What's up, you guys? My name is Aubrey and this is my channel, and today we're going to be talking about more Paycheck Protection Program and EIDL fraud. Now, over the last year, we have seen more and more fraud take place with PPP and EIDL loans, meaning people fraudulently took out these loans and now they are slowly but steadily getting caught by the authorities. Now, this is one of those topics that I enjoy covering because we've all felt the frustration of the effects that these scammers have caused. Because the fact of the matter is, the more scammers that there were meant that the more eligible, legitimate business owners were not able to get the funding that they actually deserved and that they actually were eligible for. So it is sweet, sweet karma to read these stories of these people who stole money that should have gone to you guys, and now they're having the repercussions of that. So in this video, we're going to be going over some crazy stories of people that have stolen PPP funds, including one person that used their funds to buy a bunch of alpacas. So let's get started. So the first one I want to talk about is one that I actually saw on TikTok, and I thought that this was a joke, but then whenever I looked it up, I realized that it wasn't a joke and it's actually a legitimate thing. So there is a GoFundMe that was set up a few weeks ago on April 21st, and the GoFundMe is titled, "Help Me Pay Back the PPP Loan." As you can see here, the total goal for this GoFundMe is $20,000, and there has been a little over $2,000 raised for this GoFundMe. Now, this GoFundMe doesn't give you any sort of context as to why this person needs to pay back the PPP. It just says, "All funds are gladly appreciated and will be used to pay off all fees owed to the government. Thank you for your support." Now, I'm blocking off the organizer's name because I do not want to give this person any unnecessary publicity on this, because I do not support this GoFundMe. But the problem is, if we look on GoFundMe.com and we type in PPP, you will see a handful of different GoFundMe pages exactly like this. For example, this woman right here has said to have gotten a $60,000 PPP loan, and it says, "I'm trying to get my funds in order. This is to pay back a loan that was supposed to be forgiven. Please, anything will help." Now, there are a lot of different examples exactly like this, but I'm not going to get into them again because I do not support these GoFundMes. I think that if you wrongfully took out the PPP, you should have to pay back every single dollar of that. And I think setting up a GoFundMe in order to do that is a bit gross. And so we'll just leave it at that. I thought that it was interesting, and I thought it was something that was worthwhile to put in this video, but I do not want to give these people any more publicity than they've already gotten through social media platforms like TikTok, for example, which is where I heard of these GoFundMe pages. But now let's move on to a bit of a more ridiculous story, which is a news article from a Boston news publication. And it says, "Massachusetts pizza shop owner used fraudulent PPP loans to buy Vermont alpaca farm." And it says, Dana McIntyre falsified an official tax form and claimed the pizza shop had almost 50 employees when records indicated it had fewer than 10. In an effort to inflate the size of the loan he was entitled to, authorities said. It then goes on to talk about how this 57-year-old named Dana McIntyre from Vermont was arrested on Tuesday and charged with wire fraud and money laundering, according to a statement from the U.S. Attorney's Office in Boston. More than $660,000 from the PPP, and then used that money to buy and stock a Vermont alpaca farm. It also says that once he received the PPP loan, he sold the pizza shop, so none of that money actually went to the people that money was for. Yes, the PPP is for the business owner, but really it's intended to go to the employees of the shop to keep those workers retained and to keep them working. That's not what this person did. Instead, he just sold his pizza shop altogether. So then after he sold his pizza shop in September, he then went on to buy his alpaca farm in Vermont, also bought 2 new vehicles, and it says here that he bought weekly airtime for a cryptocurrency themed radio show that he hosted. Now, he's currently out on bond, which was set at about $100,000, but if convicted, McIntyre faces about 40 years in prison and faces up to $750,000 in fines. The next case is one directly from the Department of Justice's website, and it's not as humorous as alpacas, but it is quite serious. And this is a case that, per the Department of Justice, Justice says that 6 were charged with fraudulently seeking to obtain $9 billion in COVID relief funding. This includes both the EIDL as well as the PPP. And basically what seemed to happen here is these 6 individuals claimed to have a nonprofit church or faith-based organization that had $1 million in revenue and 15 employees. After this initial application, it is estimated that between the 6 of them, they submitted over 60 different EIDL applications. And across these over 60 applications that they submitted, they were seeking about $9 million in funding, but they were approved for $3.3 million. But as we can, of course, all guess, the government and the Department of Justice found out about this, and they are now indicted. Now, according to the report, they used this money to buy a ton of different things, most notably vehicles, and they purchased a 2021 Chevy Tahoe, a 2021 Kia Telluride, a 2020 Hyundai Elantra, and a 2020 BMW X4. Now, this indictment is relatively new. It just happened at the beginning of May, and so we will wait and see what ends up happening over the next few months with these 6 individuals, but similarly to the McIntosh case with his alpaca farm. But if convicted, they will of course face a significant amount of jail time and potentially hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in fines. And the last case that I want to talk about is one that is almost as ridiculous, if not more ridiculous, than the alpaca farmer. And this is a Southern California man who received multiple PPP loans for a total of $5 million in coronavirus aid, and then used that money to buy exotic cars. Now, the article starts off by talking about how a gentleman named Mustafa Kadiri, which I'm sure I'm mispronouncing, applied for multiple loan applications through the EIDL and the PPP for his mortgage and advertising business. It says here that his Paycheck Protection Program applications were approved and the government deposited nearly $5 million into multiple bank accounts controlled by him. The 38-year-old could pay his workers and cover other business-related expenses, court records stated. But it then goes on to say that the money actually never went to the businesses, and instead the funds funded lavish vacations. And he also used the money to buy a 2018 Lamborghini Aventador, which can go as high as $600,000 or $700,000 for a new one, and you can buy them in some cases used for between $300,000 and $400,000. Now, this case is just one of the many cases of people using PPP loans specifically to buy exotic cars. In fact, the Department of Justice has announced that they have indicted and charged more than 120 individuals related to PPP fraud, and I expect, as I'm sure you guys do as well, that number will continue to grow as weeks, months, and years go by. Honestly though, you guys, the reason why I wanted to make this video is because of the fact that I have been covering, PPP for over a year now. I've been covering EIDL for over a year now. And over the last year, I have seen firsthand, as I'm sure you guys have as well, seen people that haven't been able to get these funds even though they're eligible for them. And now that we are seeing so many people being indicted, being charged with getting fraudulent PPP funds and then using them on extravagant purchases, it is just something that is so sweet to see, and I love sharing it with you guys. If you guys ever come across any of these types of articles or cases of people getting charged for ridiculous EIDL and COVID relief fraud, I would love to see it. So you can always find me on Instagram. My handle is @aubrey.janik. I would love to see anything that you guys find online. But like always, if you guys have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, then make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video.